What's up, my fellow nerds? So today we're gonna talk about 3 nerdy habits that makes people dislike you. Now listen, I bet most of you guys are great people, but sometimes our actions can be misinterpreted as offensive, weird, or even both. Personally, my actions have been misinterpreted as not socially aware, being too by the book, not being friendly, and this made it incredibly hard for people to like me. But you don't need to make the same mistakes that I did. The sooner you can fix those pesky nerdy habits, the easier it'll be for people to like you. Now on to the 3 pesky nerdy habits that makes people not like you. The first one is being too blunt. As a nerd, it's very easy to be logical and straight to the point. What's the point of even beating around the bush, right? Well, in a world where most people are not nerds, we have to figure out a way where we can communicate with them that works. Even though it makes sense to get right to the chase without considering the other person's feelings, sometimes that other person might get hurt by what we say, and they might not want to be around us after that. You have to realize that being blunt is great in certain situations, if life and death situations or high stake negotiations. But for the majority of your life, being blunt is not the best way. You have to have more tact when communicating with other individuals. And that can be in the way of maybe sugarcoating what you mean to say, or maybe being less blunt, but you can figure that out. All right, the second nerdy habit that makes people dislike you is not having any interests outside of school, games, and other nerdy activities. Growing up, my life revolved around school, video games, and war history. Besides playing Call of Duty or Medal of Honor, I would read obsessively about World War II, Napoleon, and the European conquests of North America. I loved all that stuff. But the thing is, outside of those nerdy subjects, it was incredibly difficult for me to hold on to a conversation with a non-nerd. I was in my own bubble. Whenever non-nerds would speak with me, it was incredibly difficult for me to take an interest in them, as well as them in me. As a result, many people didn't see the value of spending time with me, so they just labeled me as a nerd and let me be. Now listen, I wouldn't change any of those interests I had growing up, but I wish I did expand my interests in other things that people my age were taking part in. Like girls, roughhousing, pranks. You have to realize that having well-balanced interests makes you a lot more interesting. Plus, people will have some things in common with you as well. Now, onto the third nerdy habit that makes people dislike you. And before I divulge on this one is incredibly important. So what is this nerdy habit? Well, it's the fact that you don't take care of yourself. And what I mean by taking care of yourself, I mean having good hygiene, wearing clothes that fit, staying in shape. I know, this sounds very shallow, but you have to realize that if you have a poor appearance, people are going to immediately put you in a box and they're more inclined to dislike you. I know this sucks, but you have to realize this is reality. Personally, there was a time when I didn't care about my hygiene, I didn't wear clothes that fit, and people just, immediately labeled me. They didn't want to spend any time with me, and over time, they just were more inclined just to not like me. But once I improved my style, my looks, my hygiene, I became a lot easier on the eyes. And you know what? This opened doors for me to start meeting more people in my life. Again, I know this is shallow, but you have to know the game and you gotta play according to the rules. Unless you want to be all alone, then just ignore all those 3 nerdy habits that I mentioned. But you don't want to do that. But anyway, guys, that's it. So to quickly recap, the 3 nerdy habits that make people dislike you are being too blunt, not having interests outside of your nerdy activity, and not taking care of yourself. All right, guys, so that's it. So please comment, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my email list, and remember, you're just not any type of nerd. You're a charismatic nerd. See you guys later.